Angel Reese tried to take Caitlyn Clark's head off the other night, and the refs didn't even blow the whistle. No foul call, no free throws, nothing. So what happened next? Clark got up, dusted herself off, and went out and broke 8 WNBA records in one game, 12 total for the Fever. And by the end of the night, Reese wasn't even talking about the loss. She was mad about something else entirely because she too set a record. An embarrassing one at that. We're breaking down every single record and then telling you exactly what Angel Reese did after the game that's got everyone talking. Who do you think should be the MVP this season? Let me know down in the comments below.
Her teammates. Stephanie White says she's seeing the whole floor, doing a jump
dream.
circle.
Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
When it's to play fast, push the pace, as does Indiana.
Clark bangs all the way in and finishes. Here's Clark, working behind Boston. Has the switch on Reese, will fire, and hit from 3. Cunningham looking for help, finds Clark. Clark to a wide open Harris. Her 3 is good.
First quarter, ball off the rim, Ryan Howard's miss, and everybody's crashing in for the rebound. Angel Reese grabs Caitlyn Clark by the neck and shoves her right in front of 2 officials, right in the middle of the paint. Clark spins around and looks right at the ref, waiting for the whistle. Nothing. No foul, no free throws, no technical, nothing shows up on that scoreboard at all. And if you go back and watch it slow, this isn't some incidental bump where 2 players get tangled up going for a board. This is a hand on the neck. Analysts who broke down the tape afterward said flat out, if it's not intentional, it's a flagrant one. And if it is intentional, you're tossing her from the game. Instead, play just continues like nothing happened.
With just 35% from 3 after a couple years in the 40s. Howard misses that one. Out of bounds, and it will be Indiana basketball. 4:10 to go in the first, and the Fever lead by 2.
Before any of this, the Fever walked in riding a 3-game win streak in the middle of a brutal road trip that head coach Stephanie White said actually grew this team up. White talked about how different this Indiana squad looks now compared to the last time they played Atlanta, calling them more mature, more mentally tough, built for exactly this kind of test. And Atlanta came into this one waiting with a defense built on length and contact, the kind of team that wants to make you feel every possession in your bones.
Oh, the balance with which Howard takes the shot. She's just kind of on a fade a little bit. Watch this,
No.
It's almost like fingertips on a keyboard. I will be stunned if they do not overturn that call.
Clark immediately was asking for a challenge.
After review, the contact by Caitlyn Clark is deemed illegal. Therefore, it is an unsuccessful challenge. Indiana is charged a timeout. Play will resume with 3.
That's exactly what the first half turned into. Atlanta builds an early lead leaning on hard screens, closeouts that come in way too hot, and none of it gets flagged. It's not just the neck grab either. This has been the story all season for Clark: uncalled hits, moving screens that catch her flush, and a growing pile of clips that make fans and analysts keep asking the same question. Is she getting officiated differently than everybody else on the floor?
On Clark rather than the jump. And looked like if Clark fouled her, it was earlier in the possession, not when they actually blew the whistle. But Indiana will not challenge.
Here's what Clark does with all of it. Nothing. No arguing, no theatrics, no looking for sympathy. She just gets back on offense and keeps playing basketball. Aliyah Boston does the same thing on the other end, holding down the paint on defense and cleaning up boards, showing the Fever aren't just taking punishment, they're answering it with poise. Indiana keeps pushing tempo, keeps moving the ball, refusing to let Atlanta drag this into a slow physical slog. And that's exactly why the score stays close, because Indiana won't fight fire with fire. This is the moment that makes everything after it hit different, because 8 of the records coming next belong to the same player who just got hit in the head and kept going.
Caitlyn Clark is walking down that MVP. Look, she's going to have to do extra to get it. We know that. It's going to have to be undeniable. You're going to have to put the voters in a position where they look like absolute fools if they don't vote for Caitlyn Clark. We know that. But she is starting to put that case together. She's producing more points than anyone ever has. At some point, you got to give it up. But will that happen, or will it remain crickets? Because we know, if it were the other way, if Caitlyn was struggling, it'd be loud. Will that same energy be kept?
How does one player break 8 WNBA records in a single game while getting hit like she's playing a different sport? Let's get into it, because the box score alone doesn't even tell half of it. Clark finished with 26 points and 9 assists, shooting efficient numbers across the board. And that's before you get to anything historical. That's just a normal Sunday stat line for her at this point, and it's the foundation for everything else that happened. Start with the career mark, because it's the biggest one. Clark became the fastest player in WNBA or NBA history to hit 700 career assists, and she did it in just 83 games. That's not a typo, and it's not just this record either. She already owns the fastest to marks for 200, 300, 400, 500, and 600 career assists too. So she's basically been breaking this same record over and over again all season, just at different checkpoints. Then there's the 25-5 club. Clark posted her 23rd career game with at least 25 points and 5 assists, which moves her into 5th place all-time, passing Breanna Stewart and Kelsey Plum in the process. And here's the part that really shows how fast she's climbing. 12 of those 23 games came this season alone, which extends her own WNBA single-season record even further. She's not just chasing names on a list anymore, she's lapping her own pace.
And then Ty said, Cece leaves me in awe. Said, I'm watching her some wheeling, found some space, didn't take, finds Boston in the paint. Basis for this group.
Exactly that, making a big impact, bringing energy, bringing a spark off the bench, continuing to bring.
Finds Clark, back to Timpson in the lane for the leg.
On the per-game side, Clark is averaging 22 points a game this season, the most for any point guard in a single season this century. Pair that with the fact she's led the league in assists per game across all 3 years she's played, and you've got a phenom doing 2 jobs that usually belong to 2 different players entirely. Now zoom into an 11-game stretch, because this is the number that should stop you. Clark is the only player in WNBA history to average 26 points and 9 assists per game over an 11-game span, and she's doing it shooting 50% from the field, 41% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. Sit with that for a second, because that's not a hot streak. That's a guard playing a stretch of basketball nobody else in league history has ever played.
Clark working behind Boston, has the switch on Reese, will fire, and hit from 3.
Add it all up and you get the number that sums up her whole season. 39.8 points per game either scored or assisted on, the highest combined average in WNBA history. On top of that, she tied her own 2024 mark as the fastest player ever to reach 500 points and 250 assists in a single season, meaning she's matching a pace that, before her rookie year, didn't even exist. She's also picked up the record for most 25-point games in a season by a point guard in league history. And since the All-Star break, she's been the most efficient 25-point-per-game scorer in the entire WNBA. Not the most efficient point guard, the most efficient scorer at that level, period, at any position.
Clark, guarded by Sherrod, will fire a bomb, and hit! Off to Clark. Clark looking to work the lane on Pow, the left-handed finish.
Contact, and guess what? They're sold out for Nike. I think they need to make some more.
Love that alley as Clark. Clark, guarded by Howard, an outstanding defender. Clark looking to separate, fading, and hitting. She's 3 of 5 from deep. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Stack all 8 of these together and you stop seeing one big performance and start seeing a full season of dominance that just happened to show up in one box score against Atlanta. This isn't a case of a player catching fire for one night and riding a wave of hype. It's a queue of records that were already halfway broken before she ever stepped on the floor against the Dream. And this game just pushed them over the line. But Clark didn't do any of this in a vacuum, and Atlanta couldn't just load up on her and call it a game plan. The next names on this list are exactly why that strategy fell apart. Clark's stat line gets all the attention, but 4 more records happened in that same box score, and one of them belongs to a player who could barely crack the rotation a month ago. So let's talk about the rest of this roster, because Atlanta couldn't just load up on Clark and hope for the best.
Caitlyn Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aliyah Boston combining for 63 points per game, which is the highest combined point per game total for a trio in WNBA history.
Here's Mitchell firing and hitting on a 3. Clark lobbing it in, Boston deep position and the finish. Clark bangs all the way in and finishes as the switch on Reese will fire and hit from 3.
Start with the trio. Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aliyah Boston combined for 64 points on the night, 26 from Clark, 20 from Mitchell, 18 from Boston, and that combination officially makes them the highest scoring trio in WNBA history. Not for one game, for a season. 3 different guys attacking from 3 different spots on the floor, and defenses simply don't have enough bodies to cover all of it at once.
Here's Mitchell digging in and cups it home. Boston able to flip it in on some space, didn't take. Finds Boston in the paint. Behind Boston, pull-up jumper is good. Guarded by Sherrod, will fire a bomb from way downtown. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Mitchell's part of this story is a streak that just keeps stretching. She extended her own WNBA single-season record to 19 straight games scoring 20 or more points, and she needed every second of overtime to get there, finishing with 20 points on 9 of 22 shooting. Her layup with 13.6 seconds left in overtime is the shot that actually sealed the win. And it's exactly the kind of bucket that's kept this streak alive game after game. Because when Indiana needs one basket, Mitchell just gets it herself.
Between the Fever and Dream. Here's Clark, guarded by Sherrod, finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
One of the things you see right away.
Line, missed the lay. Timpson, the putback is good. For more on these games, please go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app. Reese gets denied by Timpson.
Then there's Makayla Timpson, and this is the name nobody saw coming in April. Timpson dropped a career-high 20 points on 9 of 13 shooting, added 7 rebounds and a block, and scored 6 of those points in overtime, including the Fever's first 3 field goals of the extra period. Indiana is now 5-0 this season when she starts, and that number alone tells you she's not some feel-good bench story anymore. She's a piece the Fever actually need on the floor.
Mitchell trying to find some space. Whirling, dishing, Billings. Timpson, no hesitation there. The back, Timpson couldn't finish it, does on the follow. Timpson, 6 to shoot. Finds Clark, back to Timpson in the lane for the lay.
Clark talked about Timpson's growth after the game, telling Holly Rowe, "KK has done everything great. I think her off-ball cutting, her 90 cutting, the way she finishes around the rim, just really proud of her, and the way she's grown over the last, since All-Star break. She's been huge for us and a difference maker." Timpson herself put it simply, "My teammates believe in me. My coaches believe in me so much. I don't got a choice but to believe in myself." That's a guard telling you exactly why a bench piece turned into a starter who shows up in the record books.
Dashing ahead, will fire, and hit. Tie game at 81. Mitchell lays it in. 2-possession lead for Indiana and a 19th straight game with 20.
Boston's line doesn't jump off the page the same way. 18 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks, shooting just 6 of 16 from the field. But her defense is what actually let this offense function, because every drive Clark took to the rim had Boston clearing space underneath, forcing Atlanta's bigs to collapse instead of sitting on the perimeter shooters. And then there's Sophie Cunningham, who owns the highest three-point percentage in the entire WNBA this season, at 45.5% on at least 100 attempts. Take a second with that number, because that's not just good. That's the best mark in the whole league, by anybody, at any volume that counts. And she still didn't get invited to the All-Star three-point contest. Fans pointed it out immediately once the numbers came out, calling it one of the stranger snubs of the season, especially with Cunningham quietly outshooting every single player who did get picked.
Foul from Clark. Clark finds Cunningham with the finish and the foul. And a chance for 3 as this game is tied.
4 names, 4 different records, 4 different ways of hurting a defense that came in ready to be physical. Atlanta didn't just lose to Clark. They lost to a full roster shooting, cutting, rebounding, and scoring from every position on the floor. And none of those records mattered yet because the game itself still had to be won. Regulation ends tied at 81, and Atlanta still hasn't let up on the physical stuff. But that same approach is about to fall apart in front of everybody watching. Indiana had spent most of the first half chasing this game, down big and absorbing hit after hit, until the fourth quarter flipped everything. Coach White threw a zone defense at Atlanta that completely locked things down, holding the Dream to just 9 points in the quarter while Indiana poured in 17, erasing a deficit that looked untouchable an hour earlier.
There's 3 things that's guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing crucial layups. And my goodness, she missed it at a perfect time. Thank you, Angel Reese, because now Fever can move up in the standings because of you. You blew it for your Dream.
Regulation still had one more gut punch left in it. With 6.6 seconds on the clock, Rhyne Howard fires up a 3 that misses, and Angel Reese crashes in for the offensive rebound with a wide-open look right at the rim. She misses the point-blank layup. Naz Hillman crashes in for the putback and misses that too, and the whole building exhales into overtime. And Clark flat-out laughs at them. Overtime is where Timpson takes over. She scores Indiana's first 3 field goals of the extra period, including 2 alley-oops that get the whole bench off their feet, and by the time it's over, she's sitting on a career-high 20 points, with 6 of them coming in overtime alone. Mitchell adds her own dagger, a layup with 13.6 seconds left that pushes the lead to 93-88 and locks in her 20 points for the night, stretching that 20-point streak to 19 straight games. Clark closes it out at the free throw line, 2 makes with 10.8 seconds left, and the scoreboard reads 95-91, Fever.
5 seconds. Howard launches. Missed it badly. Reese the putback. Won't go. Hillman, no.
Atlanta doesn't change a thing about how they're playing, even in overtime. Still fouling hard, still getting away with most of it, except now every extra possession they give Indiana turns into more points instead of stopping the bleeding. That physical approach that worked in the first half completely stops paying off once Indiana's shooters get hot, and the whistle stays quiet on both ends. All of that builds to the moment everybody's still talking about. Reese gets the offensive rebound with a chance to tie it or even win the whole game outright, wide open under the rim, and the layup clangs off and misses completely. Cameras catch Clark walking right behind her a second later, and she's smiling, laughing, not even trying to hide it. That clip alone spread everywhere within minutes, because it's Clark, calm as ever, cracking up at the exact moment Atlanta's whole physical game plan fell apart in real time.
3 to shoot. Reese will fire a 3. Hit. Sherrod with Reese leaking out, finds her, and
Reese finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, but shot just 5 for 16 from the field, clanking layup after layup all night long. And after the game, she wasn't even talking about the loss. She was mad about something else completely, because that shooting night made her officially the worst shooter in the league from 5 feet, and in this season, a record she also owns from her rookie year. Instant karma, plain and simple. The player throwing elbows and grabbing necks all night long walks away with the ugliest shooting stat in the whole league, not Clark, who took every hit and still ran the floor like nothing happened. That win pushes Indiana to 23-12, stretching their lead over Atlanta's 21-13 record for the 4th seed, and turns one physical, chippy night into a real difference in the standings.
Atlanta continues to own the offensive glass here in the 4th quarter. Great board, just could not convert it.
Was pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
Final score, 95-91, and that moves Indiana to 23 wins and 12 losses. That win puts them a game and a half ahead of Atlanta for the 4th seed, and it splits the season series 2-2, so Atlanta can't even lean on the tiebreaker anymore. Indiana controls their own path to a top 4 finish now, and that's a real thing heading into the last stretch of the season. Look at what each side walks away with here. Clark takes a shot to the head with no whistle, gets hammered all night with no calls, and still leaves with 8 broken records and a win. Reese throws elbows and hard fouls all game, misses the layup that could have tied or won it, and leaves with the worst shooting stat line from 5 feet and in this whole season. One player absorbed everything and produced history. The other produced contact and walked away with nothing to show for it. Indiana doesn't get to celebrate for long either, because this was game 1 of a 5-game road trip in 8 days. Toronto's up next, then Dallas, then New York, then Chicago. So here's the real question. Can Clark and this Fever team keep this pace up long enough to turn it into an MVP case and maybe a run at a title in 2026? Who do you think should be the MVP this season? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.